everyone who's joined us for this webinar with Chenango Brokers and IAOA. My name is Amy. I will be helping answer questions, and with the tech side of it, with the polling, we have John Mason, who's the president of Chenango Brokers, on with us, and Jamie Deapo, who is the agency relations manager with Chenango Brokers. And they are going to be talking about all the different ways you can niche out your agency, even if you don't have all of the markets, and a little bit more about what they do with Chenango Brokers. And then we will also have a couple of Q&As at the end if anyone has questions or anything like that. So thank you. And I'll end the poll now for that. So, and Jamie, you can get started whenever.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks like we have a pretty wide group of people. It's pretty spread evenly. Just if you want to move to the next screen, we can talk a little bit about what we're going to, about Chenango Brokers and who we are and what we'll cover today. You know, today we want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the marketplace, you know, how it's affecting not just new agents, but also experienced agents in both lines of business, commercial and personal. I'm going to learn how and why now is the time to be niching out your agency. You know, looking at niche marketing is a smart thing to do. It allows you to focus, to get better at what you do in certain groups of commercial type clients. It's really helpful in helping you to grow your agency. We want to talk about some tips and tricks on how to easily look like an expert, even though you might be new to a particular niche, and how you can be profitable even if you don't have all the markets. And, you know, just because you don't have all the markets, we have a lot of markets, and we want to bring those markets to you so that you can be more successful, write more business, and grow your agency. We're also going to talk a little bit about how and why Chenango can be a partner for you, and what we can do to help you to do some niche marketing in your agency. And at the end, probably the most important thing is we'll have a little Q&A and also some information on how to get a hold of us after this webinar. There's a million different ways to speak with us, and we're always happy to talk with you. So if we move to the next, we'll talk a little bit very quickly and briefly about who we are. Chenango Brokers was formed back in 1972 by John Mason, who bought it in 1999.
Yeah, I didn't form it, Jamie. I'm not that old.
And licensed in over 26 states, and we're growing. John's been in the industry both as an agency owner and now a former agency owner, and solely a wholesaler for, oh God, I've known John probably 30 years. So a long time. And both John and I have done what you're doing. We both have been independent agents. We've both grown agencies from scratch. We understand exactly what you go through every day. And for me, I mean, I've been in the industry a lot longer than I want to tell you about, but let's just say it's over 40 years. I'm the AVP of business development. I was the AVP of business development for the Big I of New York for 20 plus years. And before that, I was an independent agent. And before that, I actually worked for insurance carriers as a marketing and underwriting person. And we're focused to help you grow. I want to talk a little bit about the state of the marketplace. You know, in commercial auto and general liability, you're probably seeing as you move along that rates are increasing. The market's getting a lot tighter. Some of the big carriers have just walked away from commercial auto or taking some substantial increases and major changes in how they operate their commercial auto and their general liability business. And, you know, carriers are leaving the marketplace altogether. I mean, some carriers have decided to, you know, take a pass and even sell their agency to another carrier and walk away from the property and casualty business. In the work comp area, you know, both agents and clients are looking for competitive markets for their business. You know, clients are really getting tired of having to go to state-run programs where they get frustrated with auditing processes and they don't like to be in a position where they really don't have a lot of choice when it comes to dealing with a state-run program. You know, agents are tired of basically state-run programs where they don't get paid any commission. And it's really hard to do business when you're making no income for somebody. And it's also really hard to explain to somebody why you want to charge them a broker fee in a place where you really don't have a lot of latitude. You can't really exercise much help for a client. And then the effects of COVID-19 and the related business losses are causing, lapses and significant changes in payroll. And so, workers' comp is kind of up and down because of what's been going on. So hopefully we'd be able to help you in that area. And then when it comes to personal lines, you're competing against online carriers and probably some of your own carriers that you work with currently. They're offering discounts to new clients for going direct, making it progressively harder for agents. And that's really hard. I mean, what do you say to a client that maybe you wrote with a carrier and then all of a sudden the carrier shoots them out an indication that, hey, if you put your coverage with us directly, you could save 10 or 15% on your policy. It's almost embarrassing to the agent that has placed that business there. There's limited markets in certain areas. Coastal business is a problem. Finding someone to write coastal homeowners. As we move along, the effects of COVID-19 are probably going to affect a lot of people from the standpoint of there's going to be some buildings that are going to be vacant. There's going to be a huge need we see down the road for vacant properties. Small strip malls where, they used to have 8 or 10 tenants. Now they're down to maybe 4 or 5 tenants, and they may be getting a little pressure from their current carrier. Or, a building that someone previously was using as an office building that's now no longer has offices in it or retail in it because of COVID-19 and the business is leaving. They're going to have a need. You'll find that your markets are no longer competitive. Maybe you're working with a carrier, maybe you're a captive, and in particular right now your company in your particular geographic location just isn't hitting the mark. Their premiums are too high. And so you have all these people that you're being able to generate as prospects. They're coming to you for coverage. And yet, you're stuck with a quote that is probably not going to be competitive and you're not going to write that business. And it's really hard to find a prospect. So you want to find some place that you can place that prospect, write that business, and make a commission. And that doesn't just apply to, captive agents. There are many of you on this call that maybe have 1 or 2 carriers that you're using, and maybe they're not as competitive as they could be or they should be in order to write business in your area. So you're looking for an alternative, somebody else that you can place that business with so you don't walk that prospect out the door, and so you make some money and you grow your business. And if you're going to compete on being an independent agent and tell people that you're an independent agent and you've got multiple markets, then you better have some. And you better have more than 1 or 2, because you want to be able to tell that prospect that, hey, I quoted your business with these 4 carriers or these 5 carriers, and this is the best quote that I can give you for your needs in this particular company. So, and they are the most competitive of the 5 companies I quoted. That's what people who are out in the market working with independent agents are looking for. They're looking for someone that gives them choice and someone that gives them counseling on which is the best company for me, both from a price and a coverage standpoint. So what are we seeing on the wholesale side? Well, we're seeing experienced agents that now need to go beyond their current network of carriers, and they need as many markets as possible, but they don't want to get into volume commitments. Maybe they have a market need for a particular type of company. It might be a regional carrier, a smaller mutual, a co-op, or somebody who writes a type of business that they have a need for, but they don't want to commit to going and getting appointed with that carrier and going through, giving a volume commitment and trying to write enough business to meet that volume. So many of those experienced agents will come to us for those types of markets, and we're more than happy to do that. In addition, when they come to us, they let us take on the risk and they let us spread it out over our book of business, which makes the loss ratio much better, and it doesn't hurt their contingency. You know, if they write 6 policies in a particular line, you know, and they have a bad loss on one of them, that's going to throw their loss ratio out and may throw their contingency out for the year. So in many cases, they see it much more equitable for them to come to us and allow us to write that business. And they need to think outside the box for commercial and personal lines. You know, they want to transfer that loss ratio to us. You know, contingency is a big part of what we do business for. And so for a larger agency, they want to protect that contingency, but they still want to write that piece of business and let that client come into to their agency and grow that client. For new agents, they're looking for a reliable wholesaler to partner with you know, different admitted markets, not just excess and surplus options. We primarily provide admitted markets. We do have excess and surplus. It's available for some unique exposures, but for the most part, we deal with admitted markets that are A-rated, best A-rated markets. New agents are looking for access to quick quote turnaround and a helpful staff. You know, one of the things we pride ourselves in is that we turn around quotes very quickly. Our new business team, that's all they do is focus on new business. They share the load, they cover for each other, they get back to our brokers, they answer questions, they're as helpful as possible to help you to write business. And in our eyes, that's what's really important to new agents. And then there are agents that are looking for a niche, you know, to stay competitive and get in to sell lines of business with a client. And that's what we want to talk a little bit about today is niche marketing. You know, it's picking something that you want to grow in, that you see a lot of in your particular area, that you want to learn more about, learn enough about that particular type of risk to appear as though you're an expert, to know the kind of things that they go through, to understand their business so that you can write more of it. What are the choices you have in this changing marketplace? You know, whether you're a new or a veteran agent, you know, existing carriers or state-run options are out there and available to write or reduced or at no commission. I mean, that's what's out there. You can refer it out or lose it to a direct carrier or a captive. Not something that sounds like you want to do it, but it happens. You can go to a wholesaler and transfer it at your risk to the wholesaler's loss ratio. What you want to do is find a different angle and start niche marketing your agency so that you can focus on things, be more successful, have a better hit ratio. You know, it does you no good to quote 20 pieces of business to write 1. You'd much rather write, you know, quote 20 pieces of business and write 5, 7, 10. You're going to be more successful. Your time is better spent. And you're going to see the results of that in the bottom line of your agency. So how can niche marketing help you grow your agency? You know, when you select a niche, it allows you to become familiar with that business, with their operations, the issues they face. And the more you do that, the more you sound like an expert when you're in front of that client. You learn the things that their business is about. You learn what underwriter questions have for that particular type of risk. So you're asking the right questions, you're getting the right information, and hopefully you're getting a quicker quote. It's a better quote. It's competitive, and you can write that business. You just need to learn 2 or 3 pain points about that business and how you can help that business person run their business better, be more effective, and save money on their insurance. You don't have to know everything about that business. Like I said before, you just need to know a few key pieces of information. The better that you know those things, the more you have conversations with those types of businesses, you learn what those key points are. And as you do that, you become more confident. That confidence oozes back to the client, to the applicant. They realize that, hey, this guy or this lady knows what she's talking about. She understands my business. I think I'll let them give me a quote and see if they can't help me. And, you know, we can help you with some of those specific insurance questions that make you look like a pro. I mean, there's information available. You know, Rough Notes is a great source. They have a program that they offer that's a great tool. I used to use it when I was an agent. I mean, I didn't know everything about every business, but they give you all the right questions. They tell you all the right things that you should be asking the client about. And it gives you the ability to come in and you start asking questions. You walk into somebody that does dry cleaning and you start asking, you know, where do you keep this solvent and what type of this and what about this? And you understand, the guy says, you know, did you used to run dry cleaners? Well, no, I didn't run dry cleaners. I just understand your business. And I understand the important things that insurance companies are going to want to know about you to give you the best premium and the best coverage that you want. And by niching or niche marketing, you learn the ins and outs of a specific risk and you learn how to be more competitive. As I say, the more that you do it, the more effective you become at it, the better your close ratio. You know, how can Chenango help you with niche marketing in your agency? We have online raters for certain classes and lines of business in both personal lines and commercial lines. That allows you to be even faster and more effective in writing business. It gives you the opportunity to look and see who the carriers are that might be best for you in comparison with what the client has now. If you're bringing that quote to us, you get quick turnaround time for most classes of your business. On a personal lines risk, you're going to get a turnaround that it's probably going to be sometimes in less than hours. If it's a small commercial account, you're going to get a call back probably the morning that it comes in, or by the afternoon, not a call back, but you'll get a quote back, or you'll get something from somebody probably that same day, so that you've got information. We run those quotes very quickly. We try to get back to you and direct you to that carrier that's probably going to do the best job for your client. We also have unique niches and carriers that not everyone else has. You know, for example, you know, we have special program for Amazon delivery people on their workers' comp. We have a program for cannabis, for the, you know, producing of, the selling of, the wholesaling of, the retailing of cannabis and the operations that go into that. We can write what they call ghost work comp, or if any work comp, where if, you know, you've got a sole proprietor that's a contractor and they're not sure if they're going to hire somebody during the year, but they need to have a certificate. They can buy an if any policy that gives them certificates, but it also gives them coverage should they have to hire somebody as the year progresses and their business grows. We can give you Airbnb endorsements on your homeowner's policy. We have special programs for coastal risks. You know, in Long Island, we just came out with a brand new special program for coastal risks that take it right up to the water. There's no setbacks. There's no windstorm deductibles unless you want a windstorm deductible, and then you get a credit for it. And it's exclusive to us. You can only get this policy through Chenango Brokers. It's been very competitive. As a matter of fact, we're in the process now of even cranking those rates down a little bit more and making it even more competitive for the brokers that work with us. And as I said before, primarily we work with admitted AM Best A-rated markets, not excess and surplus. We do get into excess and surplus markets for some unique exposures that just don't fit the standard markets that are available. So commercial auto, how can we help you? You know, our markets help separate us and you from the competition. You know, we can do fleets, we can do non-fleets, we can do personal use or PPT, private passenger type vehicles that are in the business name of the client. We have unique niches to handle associations. So if you've got, let's say, a contractor who's a member of a particular association that's recognized by a carrier, they will give you a special policy, a discounted rate because you're a member of that association. We can also write franchises and independent distributor programs. Same thing there. If you are a franchise or independent distributor for certain types of businesses, we have a program for commercial auto business that will give you not only a reduced rate, but also extra coverage for that type of business that fits those types of risks. And as I mentioned before, we have a cannabis program. You know, if you want to get into that marketplace, we can help you with commercial auto in that price. We can write wholesalers, we can write retailers, contractors, retail business. We're there to help you to write commercial auto. We have some of the key markets to do that. We're very successful in doing it, and we'd be happy to show you how we can do it for you. And as I mentioned before, we have excess and surplus markets and access to them. And those are for unique exposures like for hire box trucks, non-emergency medical transport, livery business. We also, the cannabis program falls under excess and surplus. So we have some unique markets that you can use to go out there and write some business that's not easily placed, that a lot of other agents run around and try to find coverage for and are unable to do it. And there's been some recent changes in the marketplace that may have you looking for more commercial auto markets. Recently MetLife announced that they were no longer going to write commercial lines business after being, very competitive in that particular area. And so there's a lot of MetLife business out there with commercial auto policies that are being non-renewed. They need a home. We can help you with that. Okay. In commercial lines, we really focus on a number of different exposures, but we have a pretty wide breadth of what we can do. We can help you with artisan contractors. We have special programs for artisan contractors. We have programs with carriers that you can rate right in your office, super easy to rate. You can turn around those types of businesses very quickly and be very successful with them. We have a lot of restaurant programs. We do retail. We do a number of different types of risks. So we think we have a lot of markets available for you, and we would encourage you to try us out, see what we can do for you. On the artisan contractors, we use AM Best rated A markets. So we got good coverage there. We have unique markets for restaurants, bars, and taverns. And those businesses are struggling right now. So, you walk into one of those businesses and say, hey, I think I can help you with your insurance program and save you some premium. I think you're going to get a real audience with somebody, and they're going to talk to you about it. Retail storefronts, offices, and more. We talked about that. There's going to be some vacancy exposures. You're going to have some lesser risk policies that they need some help with. You need to be out talking to those types of risks and finding those people that are interested in having somebody work on their insurance. Auto repair garages, we write them all day long. Don't rule us out for harder place GL. We even have, a marketplace for roofers. So we do have a lot of different types of risks that we write. And we offer preferred and standard markets on those lines. And where we don't have those types of markets, where they're unique exposures, maybe they're hard to write, we still have excess and surplus available to you. How to get the best rates and fastest quotes on commercial business. You probably hear this from everybody. Everybody complains about it. Complete the submission the first time. But I will tell you that the better the submission coming into us, the more information that's there, the better explained things are, the faster we can turn it around, the better the quote that we get you, and the more likely that you'll be effective and write that piece of business. If you've got a fleet on a commercial auto policy, we're going to need 4 years of loss runs. And those loss runs have to be relatively new. They have to be within the first 30 to 60 days from the effective date of when you want to write it. We do MBRs on fleets. If you've got them, that helps us, but they're not required by us. If the applicant has work comp, you want to let us know that, because there's a coverage enhancement endorsement. Excuse me, not enhancement, but there's a coverage discount that we can give when we're quoting that type of risk. You want to let us know about safety equipment on any of the vehicles if you know that. Do they have ABS? Do they have airbags? Do they have alarm systems? All of those give us more discounts on the commercial auto premium. You want to be specific on the vehicle usage. What does the business do? How do they use those vehicles? Be as specific as possible. We want to try to class them properly, give them the right premium, but also make that the most competitive premium. So you want to give us as much information as you can. A critical thing for us is getting the expiring premium or target premium. If I don't know what I'm up against and our new business team doesn't know what they're up against, it's really hard for us to give you a quote that fits what you need and gets you in the door. We always try to get the best quote possible, but I will be very candid with you. If I send you out a quote and I'm close, if I'm off by 3%, 5%, I want to know that, because I have no problem going back to that carrier and trying to get what I need to be more competitive so that you write the business and we write the business. And then provide us with any additional information you think would be helpful with their quote. I mean, don't be afraid to put information in the remarks section. The more that you can tell us, the better we can sell that risk to the underwriter, the better we can get you a very competitive rate. We want you to know, though, that we're not a market for long haul and heavy trucking, tractor trailers. That's not what we do. There are other wholesalers out there that do that. That's not what we do. And we don't want you to waste your time sending that to us, because then we end up having to, get back to you and tell you we can't do it. And it's kind of deflating. Workers' comp. How do we help you, and why is it a great place to grow your agency? I think we talked before about an if any or ghost policy option for artisan contractors. That's a great option. It's great to talk to a contractor about. It protects the contractor. He knows he's got a policy, he can get certs. And he also knows that, if he was to hire somebody during the year and he forgets to call and get a comp policy, he's got a comp policy. And then you just need to make sure that your client knows that when that person comes on, it's going to start to affect the premium. We look for, if you've got somebody that has no prior coverage or that's a new business, there's no need for you to look elsewhere. It's okay for us. We've got markets that will write those types of risk. If you got somebody with a high experience mod, that's not a problem for us. We have carriers that will look at that and will help you and give you competitive quote. If you've got large, hard to place risks, we have a carrier. If you've got prior payroll of 100,000 or more for the last 3 years, we've got somebody that will write that as well. We've got a program we have safety programs available for certain classes of business. We also have multiple rating tiers. We have several carriers who will give us 3 different rating tiers, depending on the type of risk it is, their experience, their mods. So we can give you the better rate on the better client so that you can write that type of business. We can do self-reporting and pay-as-you-go options for premium payments. We can also write clients that have multi-state exposures. As you get more and more into the larger commercial risks, they're going to have a need for, maybe they've got it's a New York-based company that has people working in Pennsylvania and Connecticut. It's not a problem. We can help you with that. And we have programs for dividend programs so that the insured can get a return based on how well they, lost control of their business and how well they keep their losses down. So how can Chenango Brokers help you write more personal lines? We just recently came out with a personal lines rater that you have available to you as a broker for us that can quote up to 6 carriers, give you a fast pricing indication on both auto and home business. What's that mean to you? It means, so if I get a prospect and they want a quote, before I send it into Chenango Brokers, I have the ability to immediately go into the system, quote it either for auto or home, and get a pricing indication with 4, 5, or 6 of our top national carriers so that basically which one is the one that's probably got the best premium for you. You can then take that quote and send it to us and say, hey, I'm interested in company A. They seem to have the best quote. Can you handle this and get me a more bindable quote? That information immediately goes into our system. We can then take it, run it to verify MVRs, to verify loss information, to verify credit that was done on it. We can then come back to you and say, okay, we went to company A. Here's their final premium. That's a bindable premium. You can go ahead and write it. So we can make that fast, but we can make you in the driver's seat so that you can tell right away, hey, I know this company or these 2 companies seem to be the best for this client. I want to get a bindable quote from Chenango, and then I want to move forward and try to write this risk. Additional lines of business and markets for personal lines not on the radar. Let's say you put somebody in there for a home coverage and we rate it with 5 carriers. And as we're looking at it, we're rating it, our new business team realizes, hey, this is really something that would be more competitive with another company that we have in-house that isn't on the radar. Because that information's in the radar, they can then bridge it over to that other company's rating system, do a quick homeowner's rate for you there. And they may come back to you and say, okay, you were interested in company A, here's the quote for them. But by the way, we have this other company that's not on the radar. Here's their quote. And actually it's a better quote. It's more competitive, and it also offers some better options. You might want to consider that. We have a special program for flood business in certain states. It's not NFIP, it's private flood. It's not excess and surplus. So there's a way for you to write a flood policy that meets the needs of your clients, that gives them some of the coverages they can't get through NFIP, and does it very quickly and very effectively. And then the last thing is additional personal lines markets allow you to bind more business fast. So we have all these extra markets that you can add to your group of markets to be faster. You want to think outside the box and beyond your own markets. The key today is being able to offer choice to people and to be effective and to give them competitive quotes. If you can't do those things, you're going to be out of the race. And if you're limited by having only 1 or 2 markets, or your markets aren't competitive, you're going to find personal lines really hard to rate. It sounds like somebody doesn't have their mute on. If somebody doesn't have their mute on, if they could put it on for us, I'd appreciate it. So how can Chenango help you on your pathway to profits for 2021? With our unique niches, you can market one specific line, or you can do all different types of lines. Think workers' comp, contractors, commercial auto, all the specialty type stuff that we talked about. You know, for instance, today we just got something from one of our carriers. They're interested in aggressively writing food trucks. So if that's something you're interested in, we can do that for you. We're happy to give you some quotes. We can tell you what the program's about, what you can write, and you can run with that. You can target a niche that we can help you with, and that's what I'm talking about right here. You can round out the rest of your account in your office direct and be able to write business both with us and with your own carriers internally. We've got experienced underwriters that have 20 plus years and are willing to work with you and help you to write business. And we understand there's a learning curve to get into a niche, whether you're new or experienced. And we want to help you to do that and to be an expert to those types of risks that you've decided to niche market to. We'll provide you with information. We'll provide you with answers to your questions. We'll help you to be more successful in those places that you want to niche market with us. So Chenango Brokers gives you the competitive edge. And I believe that, and I think you will too once you start to work with us. It gives you fast quotes with completed Accord submissions. If you've got a submission you want to send in, send those Accord apps to quotes@chenangobrokers.com and we'll work on it. We'll even do a quote for you if you're not currently signed up as a broker with us. If you want to test us, you want to kick the tires and see if the car is worth buying, we're there to do that. We're not afraid. We think we do a really great job and we think you'll be interested. Just be aware, if you send something in and you haven't signed up as a broker, we can't bind that business until such time as you become a broker and signed up with us. We have online rating for contractors, personal lines, and more. So we try to give you the best opportunities to be able to get quick information about people that you want to write business on in both commercial and personal lines. It's so easy to communicate with us. We have a little doodly email we can send you out that'll tell you all the different ways we can communicate with us. And we're going to talk about it at the end of this webinar. But I just want you to know that this is a real opportunity for you. If you need to get a hold of us, there's a million ways to do it, either by phone or email, text, live chat. There's a million things you can do, and we'll get right back to you on it. We focus on preferred and standard markets for both personal lines and commercial lines, and we have access to excess and surplus if you need it. On most business, we don't charge fees. This allows you to charge fees as a broker and make more money on your end. We quote fast and we pay commissions even faster. There's no monthly charge to do business with us and no premium commitments as a broker. We're nimble and we're agency focused. Obviously, you can tell from this discussion we're having today, it's actually not a discussion. I'm the one running my mouth. But obviously, you can tell from today, we understand your business. We know what it takes to write business, and we want to help you to do that. So that's what we need to do. We want to help you. We want to make you successful. And we're constantly adding more states and markets and things that we think will make you even more successful as we move forward. And we have preferred markets that can help you to really niche market out your agency and separate you from the competition. I mean, this is all about writing business. That's what you're in business for. That's what we're in business for, and we want to do it. As I mentioned before, you connect with us, social media. We have a Facebook page. We're in LinkedIn. We're Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You know, pretty much any way you want to reach us, we're there to be reached. Search for @Chenango Brokers. Now, if you go on our website, on the main page, there's a map. It shows the 26 states that we do business in. You can see that map right here. All those green states, that's where we do business. And if you're in one, if you want to do business in one of those gray states and you've got a volume of business, pick up the phone and call myself and we'll talk. And if it makes sense, we're there. We'll open up in that state. We'll help you to write business there. So visit our website, chenangobrokers.com, and see the map and also some of the other information that's available there.
Jamie,
Yeah.
just before you finish up with how to contact us, I'm going to launch
Yep.
the last poll question, which is kind of just to get a sense of what maybe,
Good. You
like
do
you
that,
had
and I'm
said,
gonna.
what can we write more of? Yeah.
You do that, and I'm going to take a swig of water. And one of the things while you're doing that poll question, if you mouse over any one of the green states, you are able to pull up what we call a market sheet that will show you all the carriers and lines of business we do in that state. It's something we send to you as a broker, but it'll give you an idea of the different carriers and lines of business we have in those particular states. So we welcome you to go to the map and check it out, especially if there's a state that you want to do business with, that we do business in, we can help you.
I'll just give it a couple more minutes because
Okay.
almost everyone's answered.
And then after we do this, we're going to open it up to questions and answers. Correct, Amy?
Yes.
And
Yep.
so we've
which we have
probably
some
gotten
questions in the
questions.
chat.
Yep, we
Yeah.
got some questions that have come in. We'll start with those, but as we're talking, if some ideas come up or some questions come up, we encourage you to send them in. Okay. Looks like trucking, non-emergency medical contractors. Okay. Looks like,
Now, I would
go ahead.
say for the something else, if there's something else, maybe they can reach out to you. I can put your email address in the chat too, and then they can.
Yeah, sure. No problem at all. Be happy to talk to them. So that's a pretty even spread of where everybody's looking for things.
Yeah.
Commercial auto, 33%. We write a ton of it. We have great carriers for it. Try us out if you haven't. I would encourage it. So there's the ways to contact us. You can call our 800 number. You can text us at 607-246-7277. Email us. That's our quotes at chenangobrokers.com. You send an Accord app to there, you're going to get a quote back. You're at least going to get a contact back saying, hey, we want to do this quote, but we need a couple of things. You give us that and we'll finish this quote for you. You can go live chat with us right there on our website, and you can sign up as a broker. This is where you can go on our website. Or if you shoot out an email to me that you're interested, I'll get you all kinds of information in an email back. and answer any questions that you have.
Jamie, I just want to make a really quick point.
Sure.
Picture of the dog, actually. Anyway, you'd mentioned the food trucks. I would have to guess that as restaurants, particularly in the Northeast, seem to be getting shut down right now, we may wind up seeing kind of a resurgence, I would think, for wintertime in the food truck market. And that is something that we do have carriers who are aggressively looking to write. So just wanted to throw that too.
I think that's definitely happening, John. I mean, the regular sit-down restaurants don't have a choice. It's either go to takeout or open up a food cart, or somehow get your product out to clients that can the public that can no longer come to your restaurant or close your restaurant. So they're going to be more creative. You're going to see more of these food trucks. I noticed here, I'm up in Syracuse, New York. I've noticed here a ton of that happening. Even in some of the parking lots of some of the shopping plazas, they pulled these traditional in-house eating restaurants have come in with their own food truck and set it up at lunchtime or whatever to try to sell more business.
True. Do we have questions?
Yes. So we have a couple questions that were in the chat to us, and then also on the Q&A. If there's more questions, you can type them in the Q&A. And I just want to say, Ben, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your last name, Gutman, had said that you guys are very responsive. He wrote 2 accounts with you this month, and that the carrier was the hands down the most competitive. So thank you.
Appreciate that, Ben.
For Ben.
Ben, thank you.
Bruce Lyons had asked, do you write bars and taverns in California?
We have markets for them. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have
Jamie,
markets for them. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Talk about the specialty market we have for that. It would not be a target with any of our admitted markets, but we do have a specialty. Go ahead with it.
Yeah, we have a specialty market that writes bars and restaurants. They'll write sports bars, different things like that, and we use them frequently for that type of business. And they'll write business California, Texas. We've done some in Louisiana. It's an area that we are able to do. We don't get a ton of submissions in for, in California for that type of thing, but we'll take a look at it and get you a quote back and get a competitive quote back to you.
Okay. Thank you. Someone had asked on the chat, so I'll just go back and forth between the chat and the Q&A, that their agency has been a MetLife agent for years, and they have both BOPs and commercial auto that they need to move. How quickly can you help, and where can I email the apps to?
We can start doing it right now. You can send apps to quotes@chenangobrokers.com, Accord apps, and we can get those going right away and get right back to you on it. We have been quoting a lot of MetLife BOP and a lot of MetLife commercial auto because of the non-renewals that are going out. We've been pretty successful doing that. We intend to continue to be successful doing that. I mean, we also wrote with MetLife in their commercial auto area, so we have some existing business that we're transferring. So it's not only something that we do for our outside brokers, it's something we're doing internally for the business that we've already written with brokers. So we understand the process. We know who the people are that can be competitive. So send it in.
Okay, thank you. Jana Garan had asked, how do commissions work with you guys?
Happy to send you a commission schedule of what we write on with each carrier and on the different lines of business. And commissions that are paid to us usually go back out to the broker via check.
They're on our website, actually. They're under the Become a Chenango Broker page, right along with our broker agreement, and broken down by carrier and line of business. Yep.
And the stuff that we get paid this month goes out in commissions to our brokers the following month.
So that can be found at chenangobrokers.com/sign up, which I will put Jana on your answer for the question, just so you have it.
Yeah, shoot it to me. I'll
Run the
even
whole
send her
schedule.
one right back so
Okay.
she has it.
Okay. Bruce Lyons had asked again a different question. He said, "Can you help with homes in wildfire areas in California?"
You know what, Bruce? I'm going to be candid. Most likely not. We're having a real problem with homeowners in California because of the wildfires. Part of the problem too is some substantial coverage A amounts there, and our carriers just don't want to go up to some of the numbers that have to be reached on a coverage A basis. You know, where we can't help you, we're going to be frank and upfront and not waste your time and say, yeah, send it in. We'll see if we can do it or we can handle it. It's a really tough place right now. We're hoping it'll get better. But, you know, if someone wants us to take a look, we'll take a shot at it. But, you know, if you want to reach out to me offline, I'll give you what we can do in the homeowners area in California. And if that helps you with some risks, we're happy to entertain them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Someone else had said on the chat that I've been captive with farmers for years, and I was on the website, just looking at the website, and from the radar, it looks like you offer both captive companies and independent agency carriers. And I heard through the webinar that you don't charge any high monthly fees to sign up. Do I own my own business? How does that work?
Well, A, you own your own business. It belongs to you. It's in our agreement. B, we don't charge fees. We don't charge monthly fees. We don't charge startup fees. You know, we believe we'll earn your business based on how well we do. And yes, we do have in personal lines, we do have both captive companies that write in the independent agent area as well as independent agent companies. So we can be very competitive. We do business with a number of farmers agents for business that they can't place, you know, with their current carrier farmers. You know, it depends. Like I said previously, sometimes you're in an area where your particular carrier, if you're a captive, isn't doing really well for you. And yet you've got all these people coming to you for business. I mean, you've been marketing, you've been out trying to get people to come to you, then they come to you and you're in a position where you can't really give them a competitive quote. We'd love to help you out with that if it's possible. You know, just send your stuff in. Or if you sign up, we'll show you how to use the rater so that you can see what some of the other carriers will charge for that particular risk.
Okay, great. The last question that I have here was, do you have markets for Amazon and other trucking risks? And what markets do you have for commercial auto?
We don't currently, excuse me, have markets from commercial auto for Amazon. We do have for hire box trucks. Is that what you're going to say, John?
Well, yeah, I was going to say the one program that we just got that's non-admitted,
Right.
I believe do some, but go ahead. You're more familiar with the specifics.
Yeah, I mean, we do have, like I say, a non-admitted excess and surplus program for hire box trucks that would include Amazon delivery. But we don't have it with some of our mainline commercial auto companies that we work with. What was the rest of the question? Just in general, what do we write from a commercial
What
auto?
markets, right? Like what markets do you guys?
Well, from a market standpoint, our two biggest markets tend to be, I guess I'd say one of the biggest carriers in the country, like one of the top three carriers who is creating mayhem, if you understand what I'm saying. And, you know, they can save you money on your insurance.
One that just bought up the company that raised has a big book of commercial auto. Yeah, we have that. We have in the beginning of the alphabet. Yeah, Jamie, we have that company.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're not being funny with you. It's just they don't like us marketing, you know, because they do both the captive and independent agency business. So, but they're tops. They're an A company for us, and they're all over the state. I think you could put that together.
Also got Guard in a number of states for monoline commercial auto. We have National General. And then with support for package business, we certainly have other options as well. And then in certain parts of the country, particularly in the Northeast, we have some pretty decent regional carriers available, including some that don't credit score. So, you know, we do have some additional markets out there.
Yeah, and we're pretty competitive on it. I mean, anybody that wants to chat, you know, one-on-one, we'll be happy to talk to you about it.
I think that's it for questions right now. So if John, you wanted to add anything else, or Jamie?
I just want to thank both of you for your time today, and especially all the agents who have listened, and more so the agents who've done business with us, and Ben for, you know, getting on there and talking about his personal experience with us. I can talk about what we do all day, so can Jamie, but when real live voices are saying how it's been, that means the world and is the truth speaking. So thank you to everyone. And I think I'm a big believer that chaos creates opportunity, and we are certainly in some interesting times, and we've got some markets where we can help you, help your clients. Everybody wins. Thank you. Let's rock 2021. Have a happy holiday season. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.